Hello and welcome. It is 12:30. It is the 27th day of March 2021. I am your grumpy guide to all things gaming, the OGGM, with another OGGM adventure into news and controversy and warning. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. I'm going to be discussing Luke Crane and the Perfect RPG, and the recent controversy surrounding Luke Crane and their Perfect RPG, and of course that means I'll also at least vaguely touch on the whole Adam Koebel thing. So if that's a topic that you find distasteful or problematic, please stop viewing now. I'll wait. Okay, I'm going to assume because you're still here, you are not upset about this topic, and therefore we can continue. So, Luke Crane, who was the Kickstarter head of community and creator of the Burning Wheel RPG, has resigned from his post as head of community. Kickstarter's head of... I don't even know what that means. Kickstarter's head of community. Is that even a job? Anyways, he was the head of community. He had something to do with Kickstarter. He was very high rank in the whole Kickstarter organization. And he resigned after public criticism with the way he launched a project on the platform last night. Kickstarter made a public announcement earlier today that they have discussed everything within themselves, within those that are directly or indirectly related to the health of Kickstarter, and they came to a mutual decision with Luke Crane that he just leave Kickstarter. Obviously, Luke Crane is one of the founding members of Kickstarter. He's worked with it for a long time. He's done a lot of creative projects with this, but they want to be committed to ensure the continued support of Kickstarter. And because of the controversy surrounding Perfect RPG, they have come to the conclusion that he needs to go. He was the head of community. I don't know what that means, but he was the head of community. Okay, so the Perfect RPG was an anthology of tabletop RPG from a variety of creators that he was working on. Unfortunately, amongst those creators was Dungeon World's Adam Koebel, who we know had some issues in 2020 after his non-consensual, I totally planned this even though I said I did it, sexual assault scene. Several designers who withdrew their support of the project of the Perfect RPG when they found out that Mr. Koebel was associated. And they only found out after after the project was launched that Koebel was associated with it. So part of the problem was a lot of these people have issues with Mr. Koebel, including myself, and they feel they should have been informed before going into the project that he was associated with it, and they didn't find out until way after that he was on there. And the second thing, and there's the big thing, is that he used reversed alphabetical to list all the contributors. So instead of Adam Koebel's being at the top of the list of contributors, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, his name was very... at the bottom. Zachariah Z would have been the first name, and then you go blah, 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 and then all the way down here would have been Adam Koebel. So, and of course, that was a conscious choice because who does reverse alphabetical for the list of credits? So Mr. Crane, at least on some level, knew that there would be some issues if people discovered Koebel was associated with this project, but I guess he wanted to give him a second chance, or maybe they were friends, or maybe Koebel slipped him some greenbacks. Who knows why he chose to involve himself with Adam Koebel so soon after Adam Koebel's controversy, but he did. He didn't tell anybody going into the project that Mr. Koebel was associated with it until way later, until after they'd contributed and everything. And the way he listed the names was definitely a blatant attempt to hopefully, no one's going to read that far down. Some big issues. A lot of the creators then asked to be removed from the project. Some of the creators claimed they were harassed. Other creators said, no, that's completely not true. We weren't harassed because we associated with the project that jackass was on. Obviously, I am one of the people who has issues with Adam Koebel. I've been told, oh, he made a mistake, give the guy a second chance, but that's not here nor there. So, Mr. Crane wrote a very long letter apologizing and stuff like that, and then he has gone off to greener pastures. So, should he have been forced to resign from his job? Is he going to have that follow him for the rest of his life, that he made that choice? And going into any further jobs, he's always going to have to worry about the fact that, well, I did this. Is this going to mean, how is this going to affect my life? And unfortunately, as somebody who has had that happen to them myself, and whether, because of being a male teacher, and somebody said, oh, so-and-so, and, that followed me for years, even if it wasn't true. Yeah, that scarlet letter is going to follow Mr. Crane for the rest of his life, wherever he goes. Just like Adam Koebel's scarlet letter is going to follow him wherever he goes, and Zach S's and everybody else's, and my scarlet letter. Unfortunately, once you get that scarlet letter, it's very hard to get rid of it, especially in such a tight-knit group. God, I am so bad at this. Why do I do this as a profession? Support me, Coke. Yes, I know you're not politically correct. Yeah. So, anyways, there we go. Now, my initial response was, when I first heard about this, was, yeah, both his choices sound kind of schwarmy, but I don't think the project should have been, stopped. The Perfect RPG sounds like a really interesting project, and it should have been given legs in some form or another. Obviously, yes, Adam Koebel should have been removed from it, and the project could have maybe been re-edited, replay tested, rewritten. Anybody who contributed money to it, who didn't want to be a part of it because of Koebel, could have been offered their money back through the playtest or whatever. But the project should have been allowed to continue in some form. It looked, from what I've read, a lot of creativity, a lot of good stuff went into it. And it looked like a project that could, perpetuate new adventures and new role-playing stuff and make Kickstarter more money and more good press for Kickstarter. So the project, Perfect RPG, could have had a life post this issue. In some form. It might have needed another year of, just percolating. But yeah. Could Luke Crane continue with his position in Kickstarter, an organization he had something to do with the founding of? The creator of the Burning Wheel RPG, which is considered, in some levels, to be an amazing RPG, if a little overcomplicated. Still have remained associated with Kickstarter. Well, there's plenty of individuals out there who've done worse and been, punished with less or not punished at all. And, it's not like he hurt anybody. On the other hand, he did blatantly go out of his way to make sure that nobody else associated with the project knew Adam Koebel was involved and hid Adam Koebel's name at the bottom of the list of contributors, and did the contributor list in reverse alphabetical, which who does that? Obviously a conscious choice on his part in the hopes that, no one will see Adam's name if it's all the way down there. So there, yes, he definitely needed to apologize and offer an explanation. Maybe, but should he lose his job? As somebody, it's such a slippery slope, because I'm quick to condemn Adam Koebel, but on the other hand, when it comes to Zach S., I have to say, well, I don't know. There's individuals on one side who say it happened, and individuals on the other side who didn't say it happened. So I can't make a decision regarding Zach S. And if I am, so quick to condemn Adam Koebel for what he did based upon my research and my personal opinion, can I then, have to hold myself to the same standard and say, oh, Luke Crane deserves whatever happens to him because he was scum. But no, there's a big guilty by association is still a crime. If you're associating with somebody who's guilty. So how can I, in all good conscience, say Adam Coble, actually should have had, nothing really bad happened to Adam Coble, and we all know he'll be back. So should he have been told to leave Kickstarter? There definitely should have been some form of punishment, maybe resignation. I don't know. Unfortunately, it's a case-by-case basis. In this case with Mr. Crane, he made conscious choices to do things, to go out of his way to make sure people didn't know that Adam was associated with it at the beginning. And we'll never know his reason why. We know he's written a letter, he's apologized it, but, whatever. How much of that is actually true and how much of that is just gobbledygook that he felt he had to written. I'm reading the letter. He just said, I made a series of missteps and miscalculations that added up to a gross oversight on my part, and accordingly, I am fully responsible for the current situation of his events. I understand that I should have disclosed the participant list, and I feel terrible that my poor planning placed some creators in difficult position. Likewise, with the unusual order in which the contributors were listed, I was seeking to highlight the first creator on the list who was a primary playtester for this project, and hindsight, that was a poor idea that came out of duplicitousness, for which I apologize. So, I don't know. Obviously there needs to be some form of recognition of his choices. And he needs to receive some type of whatever. So I don't know if resignation was the right choice or not. Now, in regards to the other creators who claim that they were harassed, that's just completely uncalled for. It's not their fault. They didn't know. And the second they found out, they withdrew from the project. So if you're harassing someone because they associated with something that Coble was involved with, they didn't know Coble was involved with, and the minute they found out, they withdrew from the project. So stop harassing them. The best way to make Adam Coble go away is to just stop talking about Adam Coble. Luke Crane has resigned from Kickstarter. He was the head of community. I don't know what that means. He was responsible for the perfect RPG problem, issue, controversy. He made choices that were just overtly bad, and now he has had to lose his job. And that scarlet letter of, you are the guy who made this creation is going to follow him wherever he goes, and that's not going to be good for him no matter what. He did do wrong, but his wrong compared to, say murder or orchestrating a rape on your role-playing game, probably not my place to say. But of course I have said things about other topics, so far be it for me to not say something about this topic. What do you think? Has this gone too far? Has it not gone far enough? Should he have resigned? Should he have just been punished? Maybe forced to pay a fine? Maybe lost his position in Kickstarter, but still left a part of Kickstarter? Obviously, he's contributed a lot to Kickstarter. Should the writers, get their money back, and playtesters get their money back? Whatever. Should Adam Coble continue to be vilified for what he did a year ago? Or do we think he's, had his comeuppance and, is ready for a second chance? I know I had a second chance when I was falsely accused. But I was falsely accused, and Adam Coble actually did what he was guilty of. So it's a big difference. I don't know. At the end, I'm only one man sitting on a soapbox, raging at the world and telling you kids to get off my lawn.